Hey everyone, this is Amber Key, and you're listening to a Bright Idea podcast, a show where I sit down with entrepreneurs to discuss the aha moments that launch their businesses. On this week's episode, I sat down with Quincy and Tara Tucker, the founders of Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. The Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge goes beyond the traditional brick-and-mortar setting by bringing an upscale cigar lounge experience directly to you. From Chesapeake, Virginia through the DMV and all over the East Coast, Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge's sleek and sophisticated mobile lounge is designed to create an oasis of relaxation and sophistication wherever they park their wheels. Over the last few years, cigars have moved beyond the typical old man's activity. The U.S. cigar industry itself is booming, valued at $13 billion and growing steadily year after year. But what's really fueling this surge isn't just the cigars themselves, it's the experience around them. Cigar lounges have become destinations for social connections, and now mobile cigar lounges are bringing a new experience directly to people's doorsteps. These mobile cigar lounges are popping up at weddings, corporate events, and festivals, offering something fresh, flexible, and luxurious. And here's another twist you might not expect. Women are increasingly part of this story. A growing number of women are not only smoking cigars, but shaping the cigar culture. What was once a male-dominated tradition is becoming more inclusive, diverse, and experiential. Today, Quincy and Tara get into how they founded Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge as a sweet escape from their busy corporate jobs, how they've expanded their business from service-based to products, working with a spouse, and the legacy they're leaving behind for generations to come. Before we dive in, if you love what we're doing here at a Bright Idea podcast, help us keep going. You can subscribe to this show to get notifications when new episodes drop. If you like what you hear, share this episode with someone who needs a little inspiration. And if you would like to support the show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at a Bright Idea podcast. Lastly, if you're a business owner or a brand looking to connect with our growing audience, we'd love to collaborate with you. You can sponsor an ad within one of our episodes or sponsor an entire episode. Just reach out to us to learn more. Now, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Quincy and Tara Tucker, founders of the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. All right, so we're here today with the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge with Tara and Quincy Tucker, co-founders of the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Great.
We are doing awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, I'm so excited. First of all, we have to say that we came all the way from DC today to Chesapeake, Virginia to be with both of you. This is a highly anticipated episode. I'm just really excited to get to know both of you, get to know your business, how you founded this business. It's a mobile cigar lounge, so it's not just here in Chesapeake. Y'all go all over the country. So we're going to get into it. But before we get into it, I like to play a game with my guests where I do like a rapid fire, just a little warm up. So will y'all play with me?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's go. So what's one word to describe the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge?
Excellent.
Okay. What would you say?
I would say elevating.
Elevated. I love that. Okay. Favorite city that you guys have traveled to with the lounge?
Favorite city? I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
All right. What's harder, starting a business or growing a business, like expanding it?
I would say they have some equal value. The reason is because when you're starting a business, you're keeping your customer in mind. You want to make sure that you start that business thinking about what are your customers going to love. What would you think, Quincy?
I would agree. I mean, starting it is a lot of work, right? Putting it all together. And then once you get it started, scaling it is another thing, right? Because then you've already met customers and you want to exceed their expectations and you want to understand what you can do better the next time with the next customer.
Agreed. We're going to get into that later on in the episode, but this is a fun question. So who is the most famous person that you've had in the lounge?
Ooh,
If there has been one.
Oh, yeah. We've had some famous people in here.
Raheem Devon.
Raheem Devon.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's famous with all generations, like our generation, your generation.
Yes.
And so we'll go with Raheem.
What was that like having him in the lounge?
So fun.
Did you know he was going to come or?
Yeah, we didn't. We knew that he was performing at the venue where we were, where the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge was. And seemingly he had interest once the show was over and coming over to see in the lounge. And he was so cool, so down to earth. And he and my husband bonded over vehicles and RVs, etc. It was pretty cool.
Did you have something that you wanted to add?
No. It was very enlightening. Another guy, was it Hollywood? He's a big show promoter. Yeah, that was interesting as well.
And you guys haven't been in business very long, so the fact that you've had people, that famous people, celebrities, even in this lounge, just says so much about what you guys are doing and what you guys are going to continue doing. Yeah. I think that's awesome. What's the best business advice you've received?
Ooh, I would say stay on top of the business. The best business advice that we've received is from our accountant. Let's start there. And it is definitely staying on top of all things expense-wise that it takes to start up a business and grow a business, because those are the things that you're going to learn and grow from and understand how to capitalize on in the future.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that was the best one. That's the most important one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most important is the finances.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
How do we keep the lights on?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And lastly, what does building generational wealth mean to you?
It is the number one reason why we are in business. Generational wealth for us is so important because my husband and I both come from very humble beginnings. My beginning much more humble than his. And we understand what it looks like to have to do things on your own for the longevity. And we are in business because, one, we want to be successful, but we want our children to continue to be successful once we are done with all things that we choose to do in life.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important to leave something for the family, right? To continue to grow on.
I love that. We're going to get into the upbringing. We're going to get into how you guys founded this business and the generational wealth that you're building for yourselves, your family. We're here again at the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. Set the scene for us. Talk to us a little bit about the lounge and what you guys have to offer.
Well, the lounge itself is a 28-foot trailer that's been converted into a luxury cigar lounge. So inside, it has 3 TVs, HVAC system, humidifier, and great ventilation to keep the smoke out of the lounge. And then it has the Wi-Fi and music that the guests or the customers can play their own music if they like, or they can watch a game if they want. And then on the back deck is additional seating in the outside. And then in the front part of the lounge, we have the retail shop where we sell our cigars, lighters, T-shirts, cigar holders, you name it. Yeah. So.
Love that. It kind of does everything you need it to do.
Everything we needed to do. And then this portion that we're sitting in right now is called the side awning, which allows us to have additional seats. So this package right here that we're sitting in now is the tier 2 package. So we have 4 packages. We have the tier 1, which is just a lounge, no side awning. Tier 2 is the lounge side awning. And tier 3 is the lounge side awning and a 10 by 20 tent with 10 additional chairs. And then the VIP is everything we mentioned with a 20 by 20 tent and seats up to 48 people.
How did you guys come up with this concept? Were there other cigar lounges in the areas that you were living in that you saw what they were doing and you were like, I want to do something like this and better? Like, how did you kind of come up with these packages and these concepts?
I'll share that it was actually an original concept. My husband enjoys a good, fine cigar. And he and I were out getting exercise one morning, and we were always talking about business. And we were speaking about what should we do next in order to be able to do something that's fun, we enjoy it, but we can capitalize on it from a business perspective. And I mentioned to my husband, I said, you love cigars, so why don't we do something within the cigar industry? And we spoke about starting out with the brick and mortar, but we knew, we really wouldn't have time to do that initially. And I said, let's try something mobile where we can go to our customer. And from that framework, just that conversation, we begin to build on what's now Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. I'll share with you that I'm the visionary behind the scenes, if you want to say, but my husband, he has the engineering brain as well as the business savviness to take an idea and turn it into a full-blown project, and it just excelled from there.
What year did you guys have this conversation to start the lounge?
It was 2023.
Okay. So we were just coming out of the pandemic, and it's crazy that we're still talking about the pandemic. It seems like we've gotten back to some sort of normalcy. But one of the things that did come out of the pandemic was the need for sort of mobile, more accessible things, that pop-ups, if you will, that kind of like help the business. Like, to your point, you thought about a brick and mortar, but there wasn't really much of a need or a time for that at the moment. And then you created this mobile lounge, which actually has taken off. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the unique thing about it is we can bring a true cigar lounge experience to your location, wherever you are. And we even had some events where we're in people's backyards with this thing. So, yeah.
How far have you guys traveled for business?
Oh, we've been as far as Rhode Island, Connecticut area. All the way throughout the South, Georgia, the Alabama line, and then certainly Washington, D.C., Alexandria, Maryland, 757, the Richmond area.
North Carolina,
yeah. South Carolina. But we're mobile. If you need us, we will be there. We will bring the experience to you.
I think it's important to mention the time in which we're having this interview. It's going into the fall. There's a lot of weddings. The holidays are coming up. People's organizations are throwing parties. Yes. So it's the perfect time, not to add any more. You guys are already busy. Your calendars are full, but this is a great time for the people that are listening that would love to use you, that this is the time for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. In addition to this setup here, we do have an indoor setup for expos, indoor events at big conference centers and stuff like that. And so we're very flexible in how we can set up and what kind of party we can service or event we can service.
We can customize any package. Our cigar bars are very popular at weddings, holiday gatherings, for corporate events, etc. They are super popular. And we bring the same experience indoor as we have outdoor with the mobile lounge.
I love that.
We did even introduced cigar rolling this year, so we can roll cigars at events as well with advance notice. Course, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's also important to mention, that you're not just a lounge that people can come and enjoy their cigars, but you're also selling cigars. There's a product aspect to this business too. For somebody that's never been to experience a cigar lounge before, like, what can they give us, sort of like that ambiance?
Yes. First and foremost, the vibe is amazing. The music is good. The customer service is outstanding. The camaraderie between the guests is always amazing. There, you can hear business conversations, sports conversations, just people meeting and greeting in general. It just feels like a great place to be. The vibe is amazing here with Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge.
Yeah. Sweet. I want to talk to, historically, cigar lounges and just smoking cigars is a very like upscale, like luxury way to relax in a time to enjoy with your friends. But in recent years, cigar lounges have grown in popularity. Why do you think that is, from like an audience, like a target standpoint?
You know, I think that, people are genuinely looking for something different to do, different ways of socializing. I think, because when you go to lounges, you see people, sometimes they don't even know each other and they're talking about common things, right? So it's a great way to relax and just enjoy the atmosphere, to me.
It is. And, I'll share a couple of things even, more in depth, the female aspect. A lot of females really enjoy cigar lounges because they get to come, relax, talk business, etc. And it complements other things, such as a lot of females, such as myself, are into playing golf. And when I'm on a golf course, I enjoy a nice cigar, the ambiance, we talk business out there, etc. So it has really become a place of just social enjoyment.
Yeah. I like that both of you had mentioned that you enjoy cigars. And prior to starting this business, so you took sort of your own experiences and poured into what you were looking for in terms of a cigar lounge. But talk to me a little bit about that female aspect, because I think that that's a really good point to mention. More females are smoking cigars now when it historically has been a male activity. How do you target that audience?
Yeah, I'll start by saying I have La Preciosa. It is a flavored cigar. That's one of many flavored cigars that we sell here at Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. But La Preciosa, when I decided to start my own cigar line, I really wanted something that would be nice, easy on the tongue, just smooth, tastes good. You could have it as a breakfast cigar, or you could have it as an evening cigar. And so when I went to blend this particular flavor, and I tasted this one out of many that I tasted, this was the perfect one. It's called La Preciosa. It's cafe latte. It feels light, feminine, but I would share that every flavor, whether it is a cherry, a chocolate, a mint flavor, whatever it may be from a cigar, it's very, very attractive to the female audience because they want something that makes them feel like a lady.
Yes.
Compliments them.
Yeah. Talk to me about this process of creating cigars. So we have the cigar that you just mentioned that's targeted more to a female, lighter, a sweeter palate. And then we have your cigar that you, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, our other brand is called Infinity Ash 1966, right? So the unique thing about the name of Infinity Ash, it means excellence without boundaries, right? There are no boundaries to excellence. And then 1966 is when I was born and grew up on a tobacco farm in Amelia County, Virginia. My grandfather's tobacco farm, actually. And we grew tobacco there. And as I got older, I worked in the fields a lot, mostly going to get water for everybody. That was the easiest job. But really learned a lot about tobacco then. My grandfather used to make his own chewing tobacco and things like that. And so fast forward to now, years later, felt like it'd be something to really contribute back to him and to his legacy, on the tobacco farm. And so as far as establishing your own brand, we went to a cigar manufacturing company, and we did a blending experience where the cigar roller would roll up different leaves, and he would give us a cigar after he rolls it up, and we'd have to smoke it to taste it. And of course, in between cigars, you clear your palate with some, what was it, rum? Yeah. Or coffee, clear your palate. And then in order to get the flavors from it. And once you get to that flavor that you like, you enjoy the most, that's it. You go with it. And then it's a matter of making sure that, when you have your customers buy it from you or you give a sample out, they give you feedback on it. And so far, our feedback has been great.
Yeah. What has been the feedback?
Very smooth smoke, very good draw, doesn't leave any taste in your mouth. Everything's been positive, very positive.
And I'll share with you with the La Preciosa, which is Spanish for precious. That's a nickname that my grandmother gave me when I was first born.
I love that.
Yep. And La Preciosa, my year of birth was 1970. But I'll share with you that both the gentleman and the female has given us phenomenal feedback on the La Preciosa. So it's almost like one that everyone can enjoy. It's really, really light, but flavorful all at the same time. So we've gotten some great feedback.
And did you guys know when you came up with the idea to start a cigar lounge, was it always to also create a brand of cigars?
No, not always. It's just something that we kind of ventured into, was we're always looking for ways to expand, right? And so that was one of them. The next step to that part is to start to market them to where we're selling them wholesale, and we're also getting them into cigar stores and other cigar lounges.
The ultimate goal would be to get them into large, big box retail establishments. So that would be the ultimate goal. And we're currently working on a plan. We have a couple of additional things that we're looking to button up because my husband, as well as myself, we like perfection because we want our customers to receive excellence. And so once we button those things up, we will start marketing to the larger retail establishments and get them on the shelves.
Well, let's talk about perfection for a second, because the people that are listening to this episode obviously are going to be huge fans of you after listening to this episode, but they also might have the same idea or a concept on their own. How do you know? You started off with this cigar lounge, expanded to cigars. How do you know when it is time and your business is ready to add a product or to expand the business?
I think you kind of play it by ear, and when you're ready to expand and go a different direction, or just like when we decided to get a cigar brand of our own, you just do it, so.
Did you have to have a plan in place? Did you have to have a certain amount of money set aside? Or were you guys just like, we're going to wing it because we just have faith in this business?
There's a couple of things. My husband does a ton of research on the process. And understanding what the process looks like first before we step out there. And then the second piece of it is when you go into the standpoint of wanting to create your own brand, especially a cigar brand, you've got to have finances in order so that you can purchase enough to start sampling, other people to sample for you, right? And so we have a ton of friends that enjoy cigars, and one of our faithful business partners, my sister, and she, along with my girlfriends and some of our business partners and Quincy's friends as well, we provided them all samples because we wanted true feedback, and we knew that they would give us solid feedback. Mm-hmm. And once we got that feedback for the Infinity Ash, we went back to the table just a little bit. The La Preciosa was pretty much right on point, and we rolled with it. And then we began to, when you go to manufacturers, there is a limited quantity that you have, a minimum quantity that you have to purchase. And so we started purchasing the minimum quantity until we got the sales going in the right direction. And once the sales took off, there was the opportunity from a margin perspective and a margin perspective to go ahead and purchase more. Absolutely. And yeah.
How important do you think that it is not to just have a service-based business, but to have a product as a component of your business?
Absolutely critical. And I say that because the service component is great, and that has to be flawless as well. Because if you look on Google, we have 5-star reviews from a customer service perspective because we aim to please. People are coming to us choosing to come to us to spend their money, and we want to make sure, one, they get quality products, and then two, they have a great time while they're here. But I will share with you that, in the midst of adding on additional projects, expanding your business, it's critical because every year the goal should be to grow financially year over year. And that's going to be adding different services, adding different products, things that keeps your business going in the right direction.
You should always consider multiple streams of revenue, right? Because, during the winter months, we're not as active with the cigar lounge. So you have to keep it going, right? So one way of keeping it going is cigar sales and accessory sales and things like that. Indoor events, as I mentioned before, we have different setups. So that's when our indoor setups come into play for indoor events during the cold months. Now, one unique thing about our lounge is we have heat in there as well, fireplace, and then outside we have fire pits for the wintertime. So we're not afraid of the winter, but most of our bookings are indoor bookings in the wintertime.
Slower in the wintertime. So are people able to buy your cigars online?
Not yet. Right now we're selling based on contact with the customer. They'll call us up. They say, hey, can I get so many cigars? And so we're doing it that way.
Yeah. I was just asking because if somebody doesn't need the lounge per se, but they do want to smoke some cigars, my dad, for example, is there a way that people can get them?
Absolutely. DM us, reach out to us at infinitymobilecigar.com. Certainly our phone number is listed on our website. Give us a call. We can ship, but we will be ready online soon. I will share with you that several places we've been where we've sold our Infinity Ash as well as our La Preciosa cigar. We've had customers email us and or go on Instagram, Facebook, and DM us and say, hey, I tried one of your La Preciosas. Can you please sell me 10 or 20? Yeah. And so we've just been shipping them. So.
When we return, we get into Quincy and Tara's background and how it shaped them as cigar business owners. I want to pivot a bit. We're going to take a step all the way back. We're going to go to the background. You talked a little bit about your upbringing, and we can't miss mentioning that we are in Virginia. We're in Chesapeake, and Virginia has a long history of tobacco. You said your grandfather, you grew up on a tobacco farm. I want to talk about that a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about your experience. You mentioned it a bit, but talk to me about growing up on a tobacco farm and like how you think that plays into this business today.
Well, as I mentioned before, I spent a lot of my years of time with my grandfather on his farm, mostly during the early spring, summer months when I was out of school. And it was fun. I learned a lot about life. He gave me a lot of lessons. And in fact, I learned how to driving the tractor. And he used to let me drive the car between the house and the country store down the road. And I didn't even have a learner's permit.
Yeah.
So, learned a lot from him.
Now, was he selling the tobacco from his farm?
Yes. Once we harvest tobacco and we put it in the barn and let it dry and cure, and to the point where it was time to go and sell it. We go to an auction, and they auction tobacco off to tobacco companies.
Yeah.
And that's how they made them.
Okay. Because I'm a city girl, so I have no idea. Like, you got to paint the picture for me. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah. That process might be different today.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was back in the early 80s, late 70s.
So growing up in it, did you think you would work in the industry at all?
I never did.
Did you ever think you'd be an entrepreneur?
I never did. No. I always wanted to be an architect when I was growing up. I was good with art and stuff like that. But no, I never thought I'd be at this point in my life. Yeah.
What about you? Did you think you would go into entrepreneurship at any point?
I did not. I was, as I mentioned earlier, I came from very, very humble beginnings and certainly had my eyes on getting an education and getting employment where I could stand on my own 2 feet and do something different than what I saw in the environment in which I was raised, surrounding where I was raised, not necessarily my particular location, but that was my focus. And that focus seemed to work out well. In fact, becoming a high-level professional working in human resources is where I met my husband. And from there, we, just continue to help each other grow, to push each other, to help each other grow. He's all about education and business and staying focused on what the priorities are. And those things has translated over into this business, Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. I will tell you, we put this business first. We both have a subset of responsibilities as to what we do within the business. But at the end of the day, we take the opportunity to listen to each other and push each other harder and harder.
What do you think that you've learned from your corporate jobs that you think lends well to this business?
For me, managing operations, I worked in several roles as a plant manager, a manufacturing plant. Project management is one thing, a little bit on the finance side as well. And then working with people is the most important part. And I think that's what I bring to the table from my corporate experience.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, same. The people piece is huge. Customer service is everything. You take care of your people, such as your staff, your employees. You take care of your customers, and everything else pretty much take care of itself. But I will share with you from a business perspective, managing a P&L. My current role, I manage a P&L budget of $896 million is my responsibility. And managing a P&L that large teaches you a lot of things about finances and staying on track and how to grow a business and all those things. And then last but not least, the power of exposure. Exposure is powerful. When you are exposed to the right people in the right places, it is absolutely, absolutely powerful.
Talk to me about that exposure, though, the community that you guys have built.
Yes.
Talk to me about the community that's a part of this lounge.
Absolutely. So we, when we came here from Marietta, Georgia, I'll share with you that my husband and I, the goal that we had was to connect with other local business owners, share with them what we have to offer, as well as how we can help them get exposure and grow their businesses as well. And it has worked out phenomenally. We've made so many business connects here in the 757 area. And my husband has gained not just business relationships, but friendships with some of those business owners.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Was there a moment when you guys were coming up with an idea to be in business together, that there were other businesses on the table, or was it always cigars?
This one was always cigars. My husband and I ride motorcycles. We've been in the motorcycle riding business for 21 years. And we, throughout that time, often spoke about there's so many things that this motorcycle community enjoys. But the one thing that we see at every single event is cigars. And they enjoy them and they love them. And that is both the male and the female population. And so we kind of wanted to do something down that road.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we enjoy going to events and going out and things like that. So, the thing that makes this business great is we get the opportunity to be front row at these events, like big jazz and music festivals, and connecting and meeting people, and business venues, expos, CIAA, you name it. We were there and enjoying it. So.
Coming up, lessons in going into business with a spouse. What is it like working with a spouse or going into business with your partner?
Well, there's a sense of comfort there because you know the person that you're partnering with in your business adventure. And especially with my wife, she's quick to tell me if, the direction I'm going is not good. And so we kind of complement each other that way. Even back before our business, and she was in HR and I was a plant manager, and I come home and tell her about my day, and the HR come out, well, you can't say that. Yeah. So she kept me straight from that aspect, So, but yeah, I think that's the big part of it, just being comfortable around that person and trusting that person. Number one, that person is going to always have your back and always be there when you can't be there, or be there when you need them to be there to help you. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think the trust piece is huge because, I trust him with my life. I trust him with everything. And to be in business with him, when he gives me his advisement on the direction that we should go, I receive it immediately because I know he has my best interest and our best interest in mind. We spoke about generational wealth. He knows that the fundamentals that we put in place today is going to be the foundation for the growth of this business tomorrow, for generational wealth for the kids. And so that trust is huge. And then I like him. I like him and I love him. When I speak about my husband, and I'm not going to go off the rail from this business interview, but when I speak about my husband, I still get giggly on the inside because I like him and I love him. Yeah. So we have fun together.
I love that. And for people that are thinking of going into business with their spouses, I mean, they could love their spouses, but they could never go into business with them. They would probably kill each other. But do you guys have any best practices for the listeners that are considering going into business with their partners?
I would say 2 ears, 1 mouth. It is sometimes much better for me to listen with intent than to listen and quickly speak, because there are a lot of things that I have not experienced from a business perspective that Quincy has, and I have to receive his advisement and understand that it's going to be okay. And it's okay to make a mistake. We're going to make some mistakes down the road as it relates to this business, and it may be a setback, but we are strong enough to recover from it. And I know that because we work so well together. So I would say definitely listen with intent, and receive advisement. Just be open to receive that advisement. And then the last piece is pretty funny. When he has a focus, I stay out of his way because it's his focus. He wants to get it done and he knows how he wants to get it done. So I stay out of his way.
Do you have anything to add? What are some best practices working with your wife?
Well, definitely, you gotta take the opportunity to listen and understand, where she's coming from and why, before you respond, which is the best advice I can give anybody. Yeah.
Were there any pain points in starting a business together?
I think the initial startup, because there was a lot of sweat equity that had to go into building this lounge the way that the engineering mind wanted it to be built, because my vision was spray paint it, put the stickers on it, let's ride down the street. It doesn't work like that. There's so many things that he brought to life in this business that our customers enjoy, and it makes the business elevated that I would have never thought of, but it did take some sweat equity. And so, both of us had to, get a little dirty and make sure that we worked hard and to keep everything on track, because we had a timeline that we wanted to meet. Because when you invest money in, you have to get a timeline so that you start your business and start and get your money back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that sweat equity in the beginning was pretty rough. But
it was literally sweat, because we were building this lounge out in the middle of the summertime in Georgia, and it was hot.
it was
So blood, sweat, and tears,
Yeah.
and through it all, y'all made it. No, I love that. One thing that I really love about your story is, personally, I have parents that are around the same age, and one is retired, one is going into retirement. And so they're all always thinking about, like, okay, what's next? Like, life isn't over. Actually, I can do something that I really enjoy and I really love. But balancing a full-time job while starting a business is a huge undertaking. Can you talk to us about how you guys find that balance while you're still working?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So with the mobile lounge, it gives us the opportunity to plan in advance, because typically with something like this, you don't get last minute customers. Sometimes we get them within a 2-week period. But for the most part, with all of our contracts, we have enough time to plan accordingly. Luckily for me, with the amount of responsibility that I have on my plate from a corporate perspective, because I've been in this industry for so long, I really have a good subset of routine that helps me stay on track with my day to day. And then when it's Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge time, I can focus there on Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a juggling act, especially when, you have people that inquire about your service and their event is during the week. So then you have to sprinkle in your vacation days and stuff like that to service it. But for the most part, everything is on the weekends, which is, we're off on the weekends anyway. And then after the regular job, I go into the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. I have my laptop right there for the business set up, and then I just switch over and start checking the inventory, preparing for the next event. There's a requirement by the state to file taxes every month, so put that all together. I mean, you're literally busy all the time.
Yeah. But you love it.
Yeah,
We do.
And it's worth it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is totally worth it. And we have a staff. We have a staff that we can lean on for Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge, inclusive of our children, my sister, and they just come together when we need them to help us out. They are on site. We try to give them as much advance notice as we can, but when we can't, they still step up to the plate, and they're right here. And my sister calls it the family business.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I love that everybody's in it together.
And your niece. Yeah, your niece.
And
Oh, yes. And Listen, my niece, phenomenal, Kayla, she takes care of our social media presence for us. And that helps as well because she knows that we're busy and we just don't have time to stop and do it.
Yes.
So she takes care of that.
No, that's so important. And social
Yeah.
media today is the holy grail. Like you have to do that in order to grow your business.
Mhm.
I want to get transparent for a little bit. I want to get real. Like what has been like the biggest mistake that you guys have made in your business?
Biggest mistake in this one.
Hmm.
I have one.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What I'm thinking.
Okay. I have one. The biggest mistake in the business, initially, we bought a ton of equipment, thinking that we were going to need it. And once we got our business built and really understood what it needed to look like to function, we were overbought in that equipment inventory. And so we had to dilute a little bit.
Yeah. I think my biggest mistake is when my wife here gave me the green light to get a truck to pull this big trailer. Yeah, I got the wrong type of truck. I should have got a dually. Yeah. Yeah. I was just so happy to be able to go to the dealership and get a truck.
Yeah,
you know.
you were just excited
Yeah.
to like get started.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's hilarious.
But you know, you can never do enough research before you get into anything. And I'm still learning stuff today. You know, even when we do events in different states, I got to understand what their tobacco laws and requirements are. You still have to do a business license there and stuff to sell product there, and then remember to turn it off when you leave. You know, you don't want to, because you don't want to have to keep sending them tax reports every month. And just it's a lot to it. You know, so you're learning a lot all the time. And I'm gonna tell you, AI is really helping out.
Yes. Do you
Yeah.
guys use AI in your business, and
Yes.
how so?
We do. So we use several reasons. One, we use it to understand different state laws when we're getting ready to go do an event in that particular state, because when you sell tobacco, you have to follow the laws of the state and the guidelines. So that's one of the big things we use it for. Two, I personally use it to understand what customers are purchasing as it relates to our variety of cigars that we carry. And I'm telling you, AI is amazing. Best thing ever.
I use the accounting part of it, you know, to understand the best way to record things in our books, because we do our own bookkeeping, even though we have a CPA to do our taxes, and he also give us some feedback every now and then. But I use it for that reason, just to make sure our records are right. I've used it to help create contracts.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. So yeah, and still learning.
No,
Yeah.
I think that that's so important to note too, that even though you do have a CPA, you are doing your own books as well. I think that's important. It's hard sometimes to wear all of the hats in a business, but
Yeah.
there are certain parts that you do have to control. You can't really give that off to somebody else. But for someone like myself who's not a numbers person,
Yeah.
AI ChatGPT is
Yeah.
keeping
Yeah.
me in check.
Absolutely.
So I love
You got to
that you
keep that
mentioned
overhead
that.
cost down. Right?
Exactly.
So,
No, I love that. Okay, so we talked about the mistakes. What has been the biggest victory?
Whew, the biggest victory has been the exposure. The exposure that this lounge has gotten has put us in places that we spoke about reaching within, let's call it a 2 to 3 year milestone, and we got to the first year. We have so many business connections that leads us in the direction of future business, not just where we're standing to there. And it has just been huge. Every person that walks through the door of Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge has been a part of that. And we are so thankful for our customers. And we're thankful for the opportunities that everyone has given us from a referral perspective, a Google review. Whatever has been done to assist us, we appreciate it, because that exposure has been huge and it's helped us reach goals. And we know that we're going to continue to grow the business.
I mean, to add to that, you know, last year we sowed a lot of seeds in terms of us showing up to different events as a vendor, even events that we were booked to, and we were able to harvest from those seeds this year, because not only did we get repeat business, but we picked up new business as well. And we continue to meet new clients and new opportunities. So I think that's a big success for us. And that let us know that we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's opening doors for you. It's putting you in rooms that you weren't already in.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to tie in the generational wealth piece because we talked a bit about it during this interview, and your plan for legacy in your family. So of course, generational wealth, when you look at it on the monetary side, that's one way. But then there's also this thought and this knowledge piece of like that you guys are passing down to your families. Do you think about that? The knowledge about growing up on a tobacco farm, or just like your hard work that you've put in, not only in the cigar lounge, but in your careers. Like, what does that part of generational wealth mean to you?
Yeah. I'll tell you, just the opportunity to be able to show our children something different than what we saw is what we call success. And nothing has been perfect. However, we know that we are doing better and better and giving them something to be proud of. We want all 5 of our children to know that everything that we do and the reputation that we uphold is for them to capitalize on. And to your point, it's not just monetary. It is, we want them to continue to be proud of us and all the things that we do in all aspects of our life.
I would add that, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a business that they need to get into. But, lessons learned from us, do something that you enjoy doing and capitalize on it and start your business in it. That's my way of trying to give back, because they may not be excited about running the cigar business, but what are you excited about? What do you enjoy doing? Go do it. Nothing's stopping you. Nothing stopped us, so.
You said you had 5 children. What do you think they think about this business? Or about you guys?
Yeah. I think they think the business, one, is cool. And 2, today, our kids love us and we love them. And, just them even wanting to hang out with us, like do stuff. Like we're happy. We're just a happy family. I just don't know how to put it into words without crying, because life is good. Our kids are doing well. They're all standing on their own 2 feet in their own way, right? And we have grandkids, the most amazing grandkids, by the way. I know everybody else thinks theirs are, but mine are the best.
Yeah, it's important.
But, we're just in a great place in life, and we want to share everything that we can share, whether it's knowledge, time, whatever it may be, with our 5 children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. You hit it.
You said it all.
Yeah.
A few more questions, though. For someone who wants to start a niche business or wants to bring an idea to their community, what advice would you share?
I would say the research, of course, but something that you love to do, do that, and you'll be successful in it. It won't seem like it's work, right? Like all the stuff we have to do to set the lounge up and get it ready for the road, to me is exercise, so I'm enjoying it and I get in my zone. So, and when I was building the lounge, and the guy that was next door to me in the storage facility where I was building it, he said, "Man, that's a lot of work." I said, "Yeah, it is, but it's a labor of love, I left it at that. So,
yeah. And I would say, steer the course. Just because it could be tough sometimes, don't stop pushing. And you may not see immediate results, but if you steer the course and if you believe in what you're doing, it'll come to fruition and all things will grow.
If you guys could tell your younger selves, one thing about this journey, like what would it be?
Tara, you should have started this earlier.
Years ago. Believe that, yes.
Yeah, you should have started this years ago, Tara. I would tell my younger self that.
Yeah. What about you?
I would think so. I mean, things happen in your life at the right time. So I think this came about the right time in our life. And so I can't complain or can't look back and say I wish I had done it sooner or better or nothing like that. It came at the right time in my life. I'm getting close to retirement, and this will be fun to do it full time.
Yes,
right? So
that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that for you. So what's next for Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge? Do we have any exciting plans coming up that we can share?
We would love to continue to expand in every capacity. Continue to expand our mobile business, possibly someday go into brick and mortar. So we're just going to work on expansion for now.
Okay. Right.
yeah.
Where can people find you?
www.infinitymobilecigarlounge.com, at Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge.
Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show. This has been an honor to be able to come down here to your home and interview you, get to learn a little bit more about you and your background. And I know that the people that are listening right now are going to go on your website and use you and just support you. So thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's
really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
That's a wrap. That's it for this week's episode of A Bright Idea Podcast. Today's guests were Quincy and Tara Tucker, founders of the Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. If you have an event coming up and would like to use one of their services, you can reach out at infinitymobilecigarlounge.com. You can also find them on social media at Infinity Mobile Cigar Lounge. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring on more stories like Quincy's and Tara's. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at A Bright Idea Podcast for updates. And if there's a topic or a guest you'd like to hear from next, drop us a message. If you would like to support our show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at A Bright Idea Podcast. This episode was edited by Quincy Tucker Jr. All social media was handled by my social media manager, Shekinah Henderson. Until next time, I'm Amber Key.